Hey guys, welcome back. So today I thought that we would take a look at actually booking some travel. This channel, I don't plan on it being just an entirely travel channel, but that seems to be what's going on right now. So my husband and I have just booked a trip to Iceland, Sweden, and Denmark, and we're doing that at the end of the month. And we recently booked it, so this was kind of our first experience booking a trip to Europe, or a trip actually out of the country since COVID started. And it's a little bit different, but not too much, honestly. So we've actually had several experiences booking trips to Europe, and we've traveled all over the world. We've been to Asia as well, and Central America, just quite a few different places. And we almost have it down to a science booking our trip, and we use basically the same process every time. It always works great for us. We have had a great experience. We've had some really awesome trips, some really exciting trips. So I thought that I would share that process with you guys today in case you're interested in booking a trip to Europe, or this is your first time booking travel overseas like that. I just thought that I would share our process and help you guys out. So I'm gonna get into the website that I use, the tools that I use here in a minute, but I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about how things are different right now. So obviously COVID is a big deal all over the world, especially with the Delta variant. Things kind of got better for a little while, and now they're starting to close back up again almost. So you do have to be careful before you make plans and decide to book a trip that where you are going, you want to make sure that you can get in there. Definitely, I would highly recommend getting vaccinated if you're not. Get both of those shots. Make sure that you have a record of your vaccine that you can take with you. That can help you. And also, a lot of places may require you to quarantine, and they may require you to have a negative COVID test. So definitely check to make sure that the places that you're going, what their requirements are before you go. So like I said, our trip is to Iceland, Sweden, and Denmark. So I have looked up requirements for those countries, and I think we'll be just fine. We're both fully vaccinated, and we can get negative COVID tests before we go. And right now, none of them you have to quarantine, so we're not too worried about that. But if you have plans to go somewhere else, anywhere in Europe, definitely double check, make sure that you can get into those countries, that you don't have to worry about quarantining or anything like that. The best way to do that is to look up the embassy, the US embassy for each of those countries that you're planning on visiting. Check and see what their COVID requirements are. So you don't want to get over there and get stuck, or you don't want to get over there and not be able to get in. So check on that before you book anything. So just wanted to put that out there up front. I haven't looked specifically at any requirements for any other countries other than the ones that I mentioned. So don't take my word for it. Wherever you're planning on going, make sure you research that beforehand. So first things first, obviously you want to make sure you have a valid passport, that your passport usually you want to make sure that your passport is still good for at least another 6 months before traveling, because some countries do have that as a requirement. So you want to make sure that your passport is good. Make sure that you don't need a visa to get into any of the countries that you're going to. Usually most places in Europe I don't think require a visa. If you're going somewhere like Russia or China, I've been to those places before, and I do know that they require a visa. So might want to rethink that. It's a little bit more difficult. When you're ready, you've looked up the COVID requirements, you know you're safe, you know you can visit there, you're ready to book your trip. So that is what I'm going to get into here today. So the website that my husband and I have used for years, we've been traveling to Europe since about 2000, actually before 2012, but 2012 was our first trip together. So that's, when we first started using this website. But the website that we always use is called tripmasters.com. So I'm going to show you guys here on my screen. So tripmasters.com. So depending on where you're leaving from, I kind of just have plugged in here currently. So say you are leaving from Phoenix. traveling coach. So say you wanted to go to London, Paris, and Rome. So, you know, I already have these entered in there, but you can see all of the options that you have. I usually just type in the cities. So say I wanted to go to London, I wanted to arrive on October 17th, and I want to stay for 3 nights. So then I also, after that, want to go to Paris, and I want to stay there for 3 nights. And then I want to go to Rome, and I want to stay there for 3 nights as well. So I have that all plugged in here. I am going to click on next, and we'll see what comes up. So it's asking me some options. So I'm leaving from Phoenix, flying coach, just verifying this, going to London, arriving on the 17th of October, staying for 3 nights. It kind of gives you a recommendation of travel between the cities. So from London, say you are okay with taking a train to Paris. I'm just gonna leave that, but you can change it. You can fly, you can, I don't know what the options are. Train, air, or on your own. So if you had other transportation, you could just go click on your own and it would leave it out. I'm gonna leave this to train since that's what it suggested. And then Paris, staying there for 3 nights, and traveling by air to Rome. Again, you can change that if you want to. I'm just gonna leave it as air. So this is actually, I mean, obviously not the dates, but this is actually where my husband and I went on our first trip to Europe together. We did London, Paris, and Rome. So I'm kind of using that as an example. So we're gonna do 1 room for 2 adults, and then click continue. Got my coffee here. So this is basically gonna spit out an entire itinerary for you. It's gonna spit out flights, hotels, and also transportation between the cities. And then it's really, really customizable. You can go every step of the way. You can add on things like excursions. You can change your transportation between cities. You can change your hotels. It gives you information about the hotels. So I'm just gonna show you guys. So this is the itinerary that is spit out. They usually plug in the best things. So like, this is kind of the best flights that Tripmasters could find. So we've got leaving on Saturday the 16th from Phoenix, arriving at London Heathrow on October 17th at 10:50 a.m. An hour and 40-minute layover at JFK in New York, and then the total time is 13 hours and 43 minutes. You can look at flight details, baggage details. It's Finnair, operated by American Airlines, and flying back on Tuesday, October 26th from Rome, and arriving at 10:57 p.m. in Phoenix on October 26th. So this looks like there's a couple layovers, so it's a little bit more time. You've got a 45-minute layover, and then you've got a 4-hour and 20-minute layover at LAX when you come back. So there's the flights. Hotels. So this is the hotel that it's suggesting in London, the London Court Hotel. It gives you all this information about it. 3 nights, non-refundable, a double bed, free Wi-Fi, classic double room. You click on details, photos, map, gives you even more information. Let's see what that looks like. So it's in South Kensington area of London. It's situated near many of the city's attractions and landmarks. So it gives you all kind of information. Even a map of where it's at. You can see that it looks like on the map, these little red dots here are tube stations, which highly, highly recommend. The tube in London is great. It's an awesome way to get around. So if I was booking this trip myself, one thing that I would look for is a hotel that is close to a tube station. And it looks like this one is. So this would be a hotel that I would totally consider. So I'm just gonna leave this one on there. You can change the hotels. You can change up to this is a 3-star hotel. That's not the user review rating. That's just like the classification of hotel is 3 stars. You can pick a 4-star hotel or a 5-star hotel, and it gives you the change in the total price, what that would be. So you can browse, you can look at different hotels. I mean, it tells you the favorites from TripMasters, tells you all the prices. 4 stars, 4 stars. So you can totally pick a different hotel if you want. I'm gonna leave this one the same. So I'm gonna go back to the itinerary. And then intercity transfer. So this is the train from London to Paris. Eurostar, it is leaving at 8:01 a.m. on October 20th. It's a 2-hour and 16-minute trip. You can change that if you want. You can pick a different time, pick a different option as far as trains. Let's just take a look real quick. Looks like these are all Eurostar. But you got plenty of different options. And then in Paris, here is the hotel in Paris. Again, same thing. If you want to change the hotel, you can do that. And then here's your flight from Paris to Rome. So tells you options for that. It's an 8-hour flight. I don't know why that seems so long, but you can choose a different flight if you want. And then here's your options for hotels in Rome. And this is actually bed and breakfast. I've never stayed at a bed and breakfast using TripMasters, but I'm sure it's great. So this is basically what TripMasters spits out for you. This is your basic itinerary. Gives you flights to and from Europe. Gives you hotels in every city you picked. Gives you transportation between the cities that you picked. And that's it. But there's lots of little options. So I'm gonna go back up here and look at some of these. So we've got, so for London, you can add activities. So let's click on that. So so you arrive on Sunday, so say on Monday, you wanted to go out and do something fun. There's a Thames River cruise, London by night sightseeing tour, and these are favorites. Usually they're a good deal, fun things to do. I'm gonna look here. What do we have? Jack the Ripper and Haunted London tour. That sounds cool. Royal London tour with the changing of the guard. And you can upgrade to a ride on the London Eye. It's kind of looking for something. Here's a couple that I've actually done. It may not have been this exact tour, but like this is going to Stonehenge, Windsor Castle, and Bath. I've done a Stonehenge and Bath trip, and I've also done a Windsor Castle trip. All were great. And then Harry Potter tour, the Warner Brothers studio, which is outside of London. But this includes, it's cool because this includes the bus. So you don't have to worry about tickets for the tour. You don't have to worry about tickets for the bus. They send you all the information on what you need to do, where you need to go. So say I wanted to add that on. So I'm gonna add this on as an option for Monday. Not as an option, I'm booking it for this Monday. I'm actually not booking any of this. I'm just using this as an example to show you guys. All right, so that's added on there. So then say I wanted to include a transfer to the hotel. So if you fly into London, if you fly into Heathrow, Heathrow is kind of outside of the city. So if you're wanting to stay at a hotel that's closer to the middle of London, which I do recommend, then you want a way to get from the airport to the hotel. So you can take the tube, that is an easy option, but say you wanted just to not have to deal with the tube and get a car. So you can get transportation from the hotel, or I'm sorry, from the airport to your hotel. So I'm gonna click on add it for hotel transportation. So let's see, they've got bunches of options for inbound transfers. So say I wanted to go to Heathrow to London Hotel. I'm gonna click on that, and that will add $98 to my trip. And I'm actually gonna scroll back up here and click continue. So now you can see I've got private London arrival transfer, airport to hotel. So somebody will be picking me up at the airport on October 17th. So then, I mean, that's pretty much it for TripMasters. Honestly, you could go through and book activities in any of the cities. You can book hotel transportation at any of the cities. You might want to book a ride from the airport in Rome to your bed and breakfast in Rome. You could just add that on there. You might want to book, again, hotel transportation from your hotel in Rome to the airport to fly back to Phoenix. So I love this so much. This has always been great for us. And then another bonus, if you have any issues with your trip at all, there is a 1-800 number up here. So as an example, when my husband and I went to, I think it was Prague, we got there and our hotel had some issues with their boiler and they had to move us to a new hotel, which was fine. They took care of all that. They took care of transportation for us. The one issue that we did have though was that we had booked a ride from the hotel to the airport when we flew out of Prague, and we needed to change that. So we just called this 800 number. We told somebody at TripMasters that spoke English, which was awesome, and just told them we needed a ride from this new hotel, and they took care of it for us. So that's one of the best things about that. Everything's booked together, and if you have any issues, you just call this number. It's 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to midnight Eastern time. So that is just one of the best things about this service. All right, so let's continue. You can also, if you're not ready to book yet, you can save this itinerary and it'll give you a link and an itinerary number and it'll mail it to you. The prices could change if you book it later, but at least you have your options saved that you wanted. So say I wanted to book this, I'm gonna click on continue. It's checking the prices, validating that they are still the same. All right, so here's the trip. Spits out everything for you, baggage information, London, your hotel, your airport transfer, your tour, your Eurostar to Paris, all of your information in Paris and your flight to Rome, and then your hotel in Rome. So this is the total package price, and then this is the package price per person. So this is about $1,400 per person, which to me is awesome price for a trip to Europe to go to London, Paris, and Rome. It's really not bad at all. So then you can click continue, and it gives you some options. So you've said that there's 2 travelers, so it's going to ask for the travelers' names. You want to fill them out exactly as it says on your passport. Gender, date of birth, what country your passport's from, and then if you have a frequent flyer program, like with one of the airlines you're flying, you can enter that. You can enter, let's see, your seats. You can select your seats for all your flights. Some of these, like the international flights, it may not let you choose your seats until you check in, but some of them it does let you choose. Option to contribute to carbon offset. I usually click no on this. And then, okay, so once you get all that filled out, click on trip summary. Gives you all the flight info, hotel info, and then click continue. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. It does take you to this page for payment. So it gives you options to buy travel insurance. I'm gonna go ahead and click no thanks. And then if you have travel credit, you can use that to pay for some of it. I have never used that with TripMasters, so I don't really know that much about it, but. And then it gives you some options here. So if you're paying, you could use a credit card, you can use PayPal, you can use Amazon Pay. Here's another option. If you're traveling with like somebody, say you're traveling with just a friend and you want to split the payment because it's for both of you, you can actually click on split full payment and pay with 2 different cards. So it gives you half of it here, and then you fill out the information for each credit card. That's it. I'm not gonna book this, so I'm not gonna fill it all out, but once you fill out all the credit card info, you would click complete booking, and they would send you an email with your itinerary. They would stay in touch with you. They send you multiple emails as they confirm your tickets. They'll send you the physical train tickets, And as always, you have, again, that 1-800 number that you can call, or you can chat with them on their website, which makes it easy as well. There's this link at the top that says chat with us, so you can click on that. But I highly recommend this website. We've always had a great experience with them. And again, we obviously just used them again this year. So our trip to Iceland and Scandinavia in a few weeks. So TripMasters is the biggest thing that I wanted to share with you guys. A couple of other things that I do recommend. I have TSA PreCheck. I think it's great. I think it's totally worth it. It's, I think, $85 for 5 years. You do have to go into your local airport to finalize some things, but you can go to their website. Actually, it's tsa.gov/precheck, so that's pretty simple, but it gives you all this information about how it works. You apply online, you enroll in person, you go into your airport, and then eventually you'll get a known traveler number. And what you do is anytime you book a flight, you just put in that KTN is what you'll see when you're booking flights. And when you check in for your flight, then it'll print out your boarding pass, and on your boarding pass somewhere it will say TSA PreCheck. So when you go to the airport, you can go through that TSA PreCheck line and not have to take off your shoes, not have to take off like a jacket. It's totally a breeze. The lines are shorter. Highly recommend it. And then the other thing that I do recommend is that there is also an app that you can get. It's in the App Store under Mobile Pass is the name of the app on my phone. But basically, when you are coming back to the US, when you're on your flight back, you go into this app and you fill out your passport information, basically all the stuff that you normally fill out for the forms that they give you, I think, on the plane. And if you do this and you have this ready, then when you get back in the US, when you normally would go through a big long line for like passport control, you don't have to do that. When I went to London in 2019 and I came back and I got off the plane in the US, and there was a huge line of people going through passport control. And I had this up and ready and pulled up on my phone, and it had a separate line for that. And there was nobody in the line, so I was able to walk past all these people and get through that so much faster. So definitely check out the Mobile Passport app, just in the App Store. It's a US government app. So you've just got all of these options to make things easier on you when you travel. So recommend that as well. I think that's about it. So I know some people still aren't traveling yet because of COVID, and obviously, especially if you've not been vaccinated, you know, if you want to be more careful, that's totally fine. I know my husband and I have really missed traveling, and we've really missed Europe. So we are ready to get it out there. We know the risks, but we're going to do what we can to be safe. So I highly recommend that you do that as well. But if you do want to book a Europe trip, obviously I've given you some great tips. So I hope you guys got a lot out of this. And if you have any questions for me, just feel free to ask. Totally ready to help anybody out with booking a trip to Europe or somewhere else if you need it. So just leave a comment and I will get back to you. So if you guys have enjoyed this, I hope that you will go out there and like this video and subscribe and hit the little notification so you get notified when I have a new video. So other than that, thanks for listening, you guys, and I'll see you next time.